Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Like no other station in the world! I don't know if everybody knew that this is like no other station in the world, but that is their slogan, so we always want to remind people.
Well, even if it's not, you made it theirs, so hey.
Hey, and, you know, we have a great guest today. We're going to get going, and she likes excitement and happiness, too, so I think that she'll be really excited. So, Traci, of course, Patrick is unavailable. He's on assignment. We're trying to understand why is the show called Ask Brien, since my name is Peter, okay, and Brien is spelled B-R-I-E-N, and most people spell the word Brien with an A, or B-R-Y-A-N, B-R-I-N. Why is Ask Brien spelled with an E? Because, you know, I'm not Irish.
We actually have a lot of extraordinary reasons why Brien is spelled with an E. And we'll start with our engineer. And even though Patty is not with us, we have empathy for him because apparently I've heard that he is out sick. But we have our engineer Emily with us today, as always, and we, of course, love Emily, and we're glad that she's not out sick because then we would really be in trouble because we have no expertise in engineering. Whew, that was a lot of E's.
Well, we'd be up some creek without a paddle.
Yes, we would, and that would not be very exciting, and that would not make for a very exceptional show. That is for sure. So one of the things on Ask Brien that's very important is that we interview experts, and we have the experts are definitely categorized by having at least 10,000 hours in their respective fields of expertise.
Can you do the math?
And that formula...
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. So, yeah, it has something to do with like 40 hours a week over the course of 50 weeks, over the course of 5 years equals 10,000 hours. But if you're an entrepreneur, another one of my favorite E words, you probably knock out those 10,000 hours in what feels like the first year. So, yeah, but it's all about the expertise on the Ask Brien radio show.
But the biggest reason why Ask Brien is spelled with an E is what?
Is because it's electrifying.
Well, that's yours, but for the other viewers out there, listeners, we are educational. We are the Sesame Street for business. We try to educate people.
Education is probably one step higher up than electrifying, but if we weren't so electrifying, then people wouldn't stick around long enough for the educational aspects of it.
That's just because you think you're on Grease Lightning, and you think you're either Olivia Newton-John or Michelle Pfeiffer in electrifying Grease Lightning.
Yeah, I'll take either of those. It's fine. Yeah, I'll take either of those. Yeah, twist my arm. Call me Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, no, that would be terrible. But we we have a lot of, and your favorite, Peter, is enthusiasm, but I can't say it nearly as well as you can.
No, well, it's not that. It's excitement. I am so excited. I am excited. Woo, woo, woo.
Well, how excited are you? Are you excited enough to introduce our exceptional guest?
Did we do all the E's? That's the question.
I think we did. I mean, I think we did the majority of them. If not, I mean, if you have any that I left out, feel free to explain them.
Well, as an attorney, we'll use the term substantial compliance, which is a term used when you substantially comply, and you've got most of them. That's enough. So, without any further ado, how do you spell ado?
A-D-I-E-U.
And why do I like that word?
Because it's all vowels with one consonant.
That is correct. All right. Now,
that's always Patty's part. It trips me up every time.
Well, usually we trick Patty up with the math, you know, when he tries to figure out numbers. And it's like, I can't add because I only have 10 fingers on my hand, so anything above 10, I'm out of luck. So our guest today, we have a very special guest today, and she's very not only excited and enthusiastic, but her big word is not an E. It's called happiness, and we're happy to have her on the show. Her name is Peggy Sullivan. Peggy, you there?
I am, and I am so happy to be here. Or maybe I should say joyful, which starts with a J.
Or excited. Anyway, so first of all, give us a little background. Okay, you have this empower enthusiasm or empower happiness. Where did you come up with the terminology, and what are you trying to say to people when you use the word happiness? I mean, everybody wants to be happy. What does it really mean?
Well, happiness is really an extremely powerful, contagious emotion. I believe it's got superpowers. It just doesn't make us feel good, but there's been a lot of research. According to the Mental Health Society, it can lower anxiety, it decreases stress, it promotes heart health, it gets rid of chronic disease, you live longer, you improve relationships, you can lessen pain. All of that is the really, really good stuff. So that's why I say happiness is a powerful, contagious, here comes the E word, emotion.
And I have an F word, and that is, what is the formula for happiness?
I think we all have different formulas for happiness, right? I mean, but the reality is a lot of people are really, really unhappy right now. I did some research not too long ago, and unfortunately, 70% of the people across the United States are only having moderate levels of happiness right now. And, in many reasons, that's kind of no surprise, because when you think about what's going on in the world, the pandemic, racial riots, gun violence, inflation, recession, it just feels like for so many of us, life is out of control, at least out of our control. So when people ask me, what can I do to get happier, I always say, focus on what you can control. And there is a lot you can control. Things like incorporating happiness rituals into your day. That's a great thing to do. Or not wasting precious energy on things that are out of our control, right? Because guess what? You're going to waste your energy because you have no control over them. But I think one of the things that we all are forgetting an awful lot to do is that thing called self-care. Because the reality is when we sleep well, when we eat nutritiously, when we move, we get those endorphins, another E word, free of charge. And those endorphins just make us feel really, really good. They make us feel happy.
I'm happy when I'm listening to the Ask Brien radio show. But
well, I like dark chocolate and fur babies. That's what makes me happy.
Well, that's an interesting combination there. So how does happiness...
Not together. No, that would not be good.
How does happiness apply to the business world? I mean, so great, I'm happy, but I lost $1 million last year in my business. How is it? How can I be happy? And I'm not talking just financially, but how do I be happy under those circumstances? So how do you make that connection?
Yeah, that is such a good point. And the reality is, it's really hard to align personal and professional life. Those boundaries between work and home life, they're really, really blurred. There has been a recent Microsoft study that said that the average person is working more than 2.5 hours more each day than they were normally accustomed to. And the reality is when people feel like they're working more than they're living, they burn out, they look for other opportunities, and the reality is they're not happy. So what can we do? What can we do to change this paradigm? I really believe that employers and employees need to take equal responsibility to do this. I think employers can start out by asking employees, how can I help you? What's important to you? It could be something as simple as flexible work hours. I want to take my daughter to daycare. I want to take my daughter and be there when she gets off the bus. Is it really going to matter if you start your day at 9:15 or 9:30 versus 9 o'clock? There are so many things that we can do, so many small things to make people's lives easier and to make them happy. And it starts with asking the question, how can I help you? What do you need from me? What do you want?
So another question we have is time management. There's only 24 hours in a day, and there'll always only be 24 hours in a day unless we go to a different planet. And so, or the Earth switches around. But for 24 hours, that's all we've got. Okay? And you've got so many things to do in a day, not only the happiness issue here, but just on a time management perspective. How do you get everything done? I always have a list today, and I look through my list at the end of the day, and I'm like, okay, there's still 5 items left.
Yeah, time is your most precious commodity. We can make great use of it. We can savor it, or we can kind of waste it and squander it. And we know we all do. We go on social media, we maybe watch countless hours of TV, but it's so easy to get caught up in busyness, that things to do list, which is really about being on a treadmill to getting it done instead of spending time on things that matter. And while it feels really good to get stuff done and to check them off the list, the downside is that you feel overwhelmed, stressed, and exhausted. And that's why so many people in the world right now are having poor mental health and poor physical health. Deteriorate relationships, too. You can't have a great marriage or a great friendship if you put no time into it. And so for me, what I love to tell people is instead of focusing in on time management, and it is a billion-dollar industry, so everybody's focusing in on it, try to get more in and less time, focus on values management. Focus on the things that are important to you. Those should be the things that you pencil in first. And it doesn't mean you're not doing your job, but it means that you're focusing in on your values and you're focusing in on what's important.
So 2 things. One is determine what you mean by values. Are we talking morality here? Are we talking about, prioritization and prioritizing things? What do you mean by values?
For me, values is about what's important to you. So what's important to you is going to be very different than what's important to me. And so you really have to dig deep and say, what is important to me? So I can tell you I spend a lot of time thinking about my core values. And as I go through life, they change. But for me, I love what I call energy management and making optimal use of my energy. If I'm going to be there, be present. Energy management is one of my core values. I also love being challenged. So being challenged and do hard things is one of my core values. Love and family, that's another core value. So I take those things and I figure out how to incorporate them into my day each and every day. And they give me joy. And because they give me joy, they keep me going. They give me energy. And it's like a win-win situation. And it also, the other reason why value management works is because it gives us control back in our lives. I mean, let's face it, we all feel a little powerless right now. And if we can at least focus on the things that are important to us, the things we care about, we create our own oasis, we feel like we've got a little bit of control back.
So control is a very big factor, but happiness. If you're in business for yourself and you're doing your own thing, that it's a little bit easier because you can prioritize things. When you're working for somebody, it's a little bit more different because your priorities and your regardless of your values, your priorities are going to be determined by your supervisor or the people you work for, your team. So how do you deal with happiness issues when you're working for somebody that you don't agree with what they want you to do?
Well, I think it starts out with making sure you're in the right place at the right place. I mean, if you're in a job where you're doing things for the most part that you don't want to be doing, you're probably in the wrong job. And you probably should be looking for something that's a little more satisfying. I mean, you talk about time management. I can't imagine what's more miserable than going into a job day in, day out and doing the things that don't bring you joy. So I say, if you're in a job that you don't like or at least love, and there aren't at least people around you that you find interesting and that you enjoy, you need to find a new job. And the reality is that's why 1 in every 5 people in corporate America today are looking for a new job because, ba-bing, they don't have quality of life. And they say, you know what, I'm going to look elsewhere. I'm going to go someplace because the COVID outbreak made me realize how important time is, how precious time is, how precious life is. And that's why a lot of people are resigning and looking for different situations.
So, what was your prior background before you started this, and give a little background on what Peggy Sullivan speaking is all about?
Sure. Well, I spent most of my career in corporate America. I worked for giants like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Materion, United Health, and after a number of years doing that, and I loved it, I started speaking professionally because I love to motivate people. I love to give people solutions to what their problems are. So I spend a good portion of my time understanding what people's solutions are and then working on problems to get them. And there are a lot of solutions that we can offer up to increase employee happiness, you know? I mean, one of them is just giving employees a reset button, you know, a way to just kind of take a break. You know, we tend to think that you should be butts in chairs and work. But the reality is nobody can work more than 90 minutes without needing a little bit of a break or without needing just an opportunity to take a break from what's going on in your head and going on and being able to recharge your batteries, you know. The other thing you talk about words, you know, emails. Emails is something that's driving people nuts. Everybody's covering their you-know-what, sending out emails, and instead of picking up the phone. So we're all spending a ton of time in meetings or in emails. The average person spends 4 hours a day in meetings. It's insane. When are we supposed to get our time and our work done if we're spending 4 hours in meetings? It's crazy. You know, we need to look at how we're spending our time because we're really frivolously spending a lot of time on things that we can be doing a lot more efficiently.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
Want to laugh at TMJ and that obscenely overpriced bike guard? Discover the 3 most common mistakes that must change to stop TMJ for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor in functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpilecki.com. That's drpolucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
This is Bradley from Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to 4,465 families in the SCV. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 661-425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
For unexpected illnesses or minor injuries, Facey Medical Group has you covered. Our immediate care office in Valencia is staffed with physicians and clinicians who have experience in treating a variety of health issues. We also offer same-day advanced imaging. Facey Immediate Care has extended office hours during the week and open weekends and holidays. For more information or to make an in-person or virtual appointment, go to facey.com. That's FACEY.com. Facey, let us care for you today.
The shows must go on. The Main in Santa Clarita is your destination for free online music, theater, art, and entertainment opportunities. Tune into fun variety nights, join a talent show, learn from filmmaking experts, attend a modern play, and more from the comfort of your home. For more information and to view upcoming events, go to facebook.com/themain-newhall or at themain.org. Enjoy the shows.
At Jersey Mike's, we make a sub above. Bread baked fresh, veggies served crisp, meat and cheese sliced on the spot. Then comes the juice. Red wine vinegar and olive oil blended to perfection. It's what makes a Jersey Mike's sub a sub to behold. And beholding? Well, we think that works best with two hands. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above.
Your Santa Clarita Jersey Mike's, a proud sponsor of Santa Clarita Sports.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
It's agonizing when a family member is creating havoc in your household with excessive drug or alcohol use. Often the abuse is ignored until tragedy happens. Action Drug Rehab can assist. Their professionals can guide you step by step to navigate your loved one to get the care they crave, bringing peace to your home. With compassionate individual counseling, group sessions, and family support, Action Drug Rehab has state-of-the-art inpatient and outpatient facilities in Santa Clarita. Visit actiondrugrehab.com. Get help now.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. And my co-host Tracy has a couple of questions to ask Peggy. Peggy is an expert in happiness, time management, and a couple of other items. Tracy, go ahead.
Yes, so Peggy, I know you've spoken a lot about happiness and joy and finding that balance between personal life and business life. And one of the things that you've accomplished is you're a speaker, you're an author, and as an entrepreneur, that's something that a lot of people want to strive to become. Can you provide a little bit of your personal story about your book writing experience and getting on stages as a way to inspire and help other people be able to achieve those goals if they have them for themselves?
I would happy to, and that's a really big question. But, I spent about 30 years in corporate America, and I think the one thing that I realized, and I did have an aha moment, and I'll share with you it with you in a moment, is that eat, work, sleep, repeat does not work. We all think it works, but it doesn't work. It makes us miserable. And when we continue to do that, we become these mindless zombies, and we're not our best selves. And here's a prime example. You know, I was telling you on break that I have a cat, right? So I can remember working many hours, coming home from work one day. I was exhausted. I was hungry. I went to grab some food for the cat. I grabbed some pistachio nuts for myself. I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up a couple of hours later to the sound of my cat throwing up pistachio nuts and me realizing I had eaten a whole handful of cat food without realizing it. And that was a big aha moment for me, right? You know, I mean, to eat a handful of cat food.
I'm sure.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, wow, I'm like a mindless zombie. I'm doing things that I'm not thinking. And it just made me stop. And it made me think about what I'm doing in my life and how and if I could pivot. And I really am a firm believer that we all need to examine our lives, and we all need to really invest in a serious look at what we're doing. Does it make sense, and do we need to pivot? Because for me, I know success has really come from reinvention and always reinventing myself. So after I ate a whole handful of cat food, I decided I wanted to get out of corporate America. And the first thing I did, because I worked mostly in a male-dominated industry, was start a nonprofit for women that gave women a network, gave women tools to be successful, camaraderie, education, an organization called She Can. And that went really well, and we were able to bring in members from really around the country, and that kind of launched my speaking career because people were asking me and listening to me speak, and they were like, wow, you really motivate our audience. People can really resonate. You say funny things. You do funny things. And so my speaking business really started to increase. Then COVID happened, right? And everybody locked their doors, and people were not into another virtual meeting. So I thought to myself, you know, I've got all this really great information. What am I going to do with it? You know what? I'm going to write a book. Note to self, I've never written a book. Do I know how to write a book? No. Am I going to try and do it anyways? Yes. So I published my first book called Happiness is Your Responsibility, and lo and behold, people liked it because it was maybe one hot mess, but it had a lot of funny stories in it, and it gave a lot of advice on how you can jumpstart your happiness when you're really not feeling it. And let's face it, during COVID, there were a lot of people that weren't really feeling it. And, you know, you asked about entrepreneurialism, and my advice is that you should start a side hustle. Start to make money. Start to get your expertise, your niche, your network, while you still have a paying job. And then when that thing starts to grow and prosper and you see, hey, this is working, this side hustle is working, it's a really great time to kind of hop on board. I'd love to tell you you didn't have to juggle a lot of things at once, but that is a formula that works well for a lot of people wanting to do something different and start their own business.
Well, I think those are excellent points, and without a doubt, we only have about 30 seconds. So, what was the hardest part about writing your book? Just super quick.
Writing my book was easy. I knew my material, and it just poured out of me. I think the hardest part of writing a book was working with a publisher, truly. And I'll leave it right at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Mandy, are you there?
I am here.
So every week, we know that this is sponsored by Twisted Noodles and by Legal Steps. And every week, people want to know, why are you sponsoring this and who is Twisted Noodles? So some people have never listened to the show. Some people may have, but not that many have repeated it. So yes, it's a tough thing to do. So people want to know, what is Twisted Noodles, and what does it mean, and why are you even what's going on?
So Twisted Noodles is ramen noodles. And even more exciting is we are made in the USA. Our plan is to basically turn the ramen category upside down. So we will always provide the core flavors of chicken, beef, and shrimp, but we want to have some fun and twist things up a bit, which is why we called it Twisted Noodles. Create some unique flavors that will, basically wow the customers and keep them wondering what we will come out with next. So, and ramen is our passion.
And what are you coming up with next?
Well, I can't tell you that, but no, we'll be launching.
You're not very happy. You're not very happy, but go ahead.
We're going to be launching our core flavors in stores. We'll be launching, when I say core flavors, chicken, beef, shrimp, veggie, those type of flavors, spicy chicken. We'll be launching those in Walmart, all of Walmart Canada at the end of August. And then we'll also be launching in some Target stores across the United States, as well as Food Lion stores.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
The other company that you is also sponsoring us is called Legal Steps. What is Legal Steps all about?
So Legal Steps is basically, if you want legal documents to start a business or build your own business, this is for you. So whether it be trademarks or LLC, it's a how-to guide, if you will. So let's just say if you want to start out with like a home-based business, like a blog or even YouTube, or just working for yourself in general, this will help you take those steps into making sure you're doing it right.
Well, that sounds like a lot of stuff out there. Now, Legal Steps is spelled with a Z. Why is that? You probably don't know.
You tell me.
So Legal Steps is LEGALSTEPZ, and that's because they teach you everything from A to Z. It's not a plural on steps, but in everything that you need to do all the way through Z to finish up what you're doing. Thank you very much, Mandy. We appreciate it. Until next week, have a great week, and thank you again for sponsoring the show. And we're back to Peggy and Traci. Traci.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. So we were talking about the process of writing your book, and you were saying that it was really, really easy for you to do that. And I think a lot of that obviously is because that content was so authentic to you. Do you feel like the same principles apply for when you are on stages and when you're speaking? What are some of the challenges that you face as a speaker, especially launching? It sounds like launching that part of your career in a time when a lot of speaking engagements were being canceled or moving to virtual opportunities.
Yeah, I think the key to successful speaking is engaging your audience. And if you take the time to do your homework and really understand what's important to them, then chances are you're going to be really, really good. I spoke with a group of accountants not too long ago, and, they do serious work. They work with numbers. So I decided that I was going to really make our talk very fun, very engaging, and full of lots of humor. And that's what they needed, because they had just gotten off tax season and they wanted to have fun. And really, basically, if you can be engaging, if you can be fun, and you can give people a solution to a problem they're experiencing, chances are you're going to be really good at it. And the other thing I'd say is, forget about being nervous. It doesn't serve you. I mean, there's no point in it. Whenever I get on stage, and let me tell you, there when I've gotten on TV or gotten up in front of thousands of people, and I've been like, what did I get myself into? And my mind goes blank. And I'll just take a deep breath and say, okay, Peggy, you got this. You know your material. Just be yourself. Be authentic. So I think being authentic, and I'm one hot mess, and people always relate to being perfectly imperfect. So I find that, it works for me.
I love that, perfectly imperfect. So I wanted to switch gears just for a moment. I know one of the things that you talk about a lot is stopping the stress cycle and really, surviving versus thriving. One of the things that I really like about, and this is something that you highlighted in one of the blog posts on your website, is this whole idea of the big payoff of doing nothing. I think that is such a difficult challenge for people, whether they're business owners or employees, or they are just, trying to find their way in a day, is this whole idea of being able to literally do nothing and not put yourself on a guilt trip about it, or even figure out what to do when doing what does doing nothing even mean to some people, right? Like doing it guilt-free, I think, is my biggest question, because I need to know for myself how to do nothing guilt-free.
Recharging your batteries is really important. You wouldn't try to run your car without any gas. And that's what it's like when you constantly go, 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 go. You take all the energy out, all the gasoline is gone, and then you try to do something, and guess what? You're not going to get too far. And I always tell people, okay, you've tried it your way. You've run on empty. You've gone. Now, try something different and see if it works. Just once, when you're totally jammed up, or maybe you can't get that big idea, you're stuck on a project, try taking a 15-minute break. Try doing absolutely nothing, and then come back to what you were doing. And funny thing is, most people will say, oh, my God, I now have ideas. I now feel replenished. I now feel recharged. And, the reality is, you think about your car and it running without gas. We, as human beings, we can't run without gas. So doing nothing is really, really an important part of recharging our batteries, recharging our energy. And we need energy to be great. And the other thing that I love to tell people is greatness was never accomplished in between meetings, right? Those 5 minutes that you have in between back-to-back meetings, you usually don't do something really worthwhile then. I know I didn't write my book then. You accomplish greatness when you have time to think, when you have time to plan, when you have time to strategize. And, quite frankly, countries around the world outside of the United States are all looking at a 5-hour workday because they see the value of doing nothing. Hopefully, the United States will kind of get it and see how productivity is rising other parts of the country, and that doing nothing is a good thing.
Well, we're going to recharge and take a break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM, Ask Brien Radio Show.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
I'm Richard Sherman of Radius Agent, formerly of Alta Realty. I've been helping people buy and sell and save their homes in Santa Clarita for over 30 years. I also offer help with free foreclosure defense. I offer help with money to buy your home, and I'll even offer you money to help you sell your home. If you feel you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, don't wait. Banks will still go through with foreclosure even during the pandemic. I can save your home for free. We really do it completely for free. If you need help buying, selling, or defending your home, or if you're dealing with a foreclosure, I'm here to help. Call me, Rich Sherman, 714-1400. That's 661-714-1400.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
No doubt about it, LA is an awesome place to live. But even while living in the land of beaches and mountains, it's safe to say that we could all use a real vacation right about now. One where you don't have to stop for gas, cook your own meals, or strip your own sheets. Lucky for us, Princess Cruises has a port right here in LA. Now, for a limited time, LA residents can sail with Princess from just $89 per day to the beaches of Mexico, the tropics of Hawaii, or cruise along the California coast without getting stuck in traffic. That's right, just $89 per day. And while these great destinations aren't going anywhere, these deals won't be around forever. So visit princess.com, call 1-800-PRINCESS, or contact your travel advisor to book your cruise today. Set sail with LA's cruise line, Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Promotional pricing ends November 30th, 2021. Ships are Bermudan and British registry. Before booking, consult the CDC website at www.cdc.gov.
Helping lead the way to a greener future, all of Burtech's Santa Clarita Valley waste collection trucks run on clean-burning natural gas. Burtech takes pride in their community, and they've been serving the SCV for nearly 2 decades. Because at Burtech, we'll take care of it.
Dr. Neil Green has been treating Santa Clarita patients and making them smile for over 35 years. As a child, Dr. Green had a fear of the dentist and disliked even simple checkups. Today, he's sensitive to your needs. If you have anxiety about getting a checkup, he understands your apprehension even if you've avoided the dentist for years. Discover the comfort of visiting a dentist with Dr. Neil Green. Dentistry is his profession. People are his focus. NeilGreenDDS.com. That's Neil, N-E-A-L, GreenDDS.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Welcome back. Ask Brien Radio Show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Tracy, you had a question to ask Peggy.
Well, I do. So thank you for spreading so much happiness and joy in our show today. And I know that people are going to want to continue this conversation with you. So, Peggy, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to connect?
Absolutely. They just go to my website, PeggySullivanSpeaker.com, and they can find out more about me. They can order a book. They can contact me, and I love hearing from people. I love connecting. It's my favorite thing. So please, everybody, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and what's on your mind.
Well, that's just fantastic. And we love to connect, too. So we want to remind you that the Ask Brien Radio Show is also available as a podcast. So wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, whether that's Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you follow your podcast, make sure to find us at Ask Brien, Brien, and follow us. And if you wouldn't mind, we'd also really appreciate it if you headed on over and left us a 5-star review. But even more importantly, we'd love it if you would share the podcast with your friends so that everybody can be more of an expert in entrepreneurship. Peter?
Okay, so the question that came in from our audience was, name the 3 things that are most important to maintain happiness.
Well, I would say self-care is definitely one of them. I would say having a go-to something that makes you happy, and I talked about dark chocolate and fur babies, and I know when I'm petting my cat and hanging out with him, I forget about the cares of the world. And I think the third thing, which is always great, is to move. Get your body moving. You get your endorphins going, makes you feel good, makes you forget. You can't think too much when you're moving.
Well, those are excellent pieces of information. Now, the next question was, what was your greatest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
I think my greatest challenge was probably when my husband of 20 years decided he didn't want to be married anymore, and I had a young child to raise, and I was trying to figure it all out. And I think how I handled it was I just decided that I was going to get it. And I decided every morning I got up and I said, you got this, you'll figure it out. And since then, every single day for the last 20 years, that's what I say to myself every morning. I start the day saying, I got this. I can do hard things.
In the next couple of years, what is your biggest thing that you want to work on and improve?
I am in the process of writing another book that's about value-driven management. I've been testing the theories and watching people become happier and more productive. So I'd love to be able to get that program out there and watch people really maximize their lives. And the other thing is the nonprofit that I run for women, She Can. We've been growing nationally, and it would be my honor to watch the organization grow and to be able to help more women step into their power.
Thank you very much. You've been a great guest, Peggy Sullivan. Thank you, Traci. This is the Ask Brien Radio Show, KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. Over and out.